Hello, everyone. My name is Vernice, and this is my podcast, Speak Up. Shout out to my new listeners out there. For those of you that don't know, the mission statement for this podcast is we will use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self love and respect. So, this is a place for self love and respect. Hope you guys are all having a great October. It is like pretty chilly. I'm happy it's getting darker outside, and I'm ready to just be cozy. I'm excited for today's episode. I'm gonna have a really cool guest. I'm so excited to pick her brain, to get to know her, to learn more about her and her craft. You guys give it up for journalist and media professional Aaricka Washington. Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming on. Let's do your welcome. Yes, I'm so excited to have you. Me and so for those of you that don't know, me and Erica met in Run Club. Shout out to Keep It 100. And I've been excited just to have you on here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am a freelance journalist. I have written for so many different publications nationwide, the New York Times, The Guardian, PBS NewsHour, Time Magazine, and the list goes on and on. I've lived in 5 different cities, so basically everywhere, all over the country, Indianapolis, New York, LA, Houston, Austin. Yeah, so it's been nice. I'm a writer and a media professional. I do a lot.
Oh my God. I absolutely love it for real. And so like what got you into journalism?
Yes, I have always loved storytelling ever since I was a kid. Like I could write as a kid, like from 10 years old. I was writing stories, I was writing poetry. No one had to tell me to do anything. I just loved it. And when I was in high school, I got involved in a broadcast television program in my high school, and I just fell in love with just being nosy and wanted to know what was going on in school and the important things to tell people. And I loved being the person who got to be the first person to find out what was going on, and be a part of recording that history for people. And that carried on through my college experience, continued to do broadcasts, actually started writing in a newspaper. And so I fell in love with print journalism first, or after broadcast, and kind of pursued that a little bit. And then I took a detour. I actually decided to join Teach for America after majoring in journalism in college. And so I was a teacher for 3 years in Houston, Texas. Shout out to Houston. Yes, loved it. And that taught me a lot about the inequities that existed in the education system. And for the longest time, I had this goal in mind to go back into journalism after being a teacher, because I wanted to report specifically on education and the inequities that I saw within education. So I became, after that, I worked in education as an AmeriCorps Vista in Indianapolis, and then I moved to New York, and I went to grad school at Columbia University with the whole mindset of going into education journalism. So that was my drive. I did that, and I became a professional journalist after grad school in Austin, Texas, at the Austin American Statesman, at their newspaper. And then I went to, what else did I do? Oh yeah, and I moved to Indianapolis to become an education reporter there. I did some freelance work, experienced a lot of like upheaval in my life during the pandemic. And then finally I moved to LA 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago in December.
I love how you live in different places. I feel like you just get a different perspective and just seeing different systems and how things operate. Any differences, that stuck out to you about, some of the stories you've written, like with this, the different states in mind?
Yeah, I would say that New York, for anybody who knows New York, you know how intricate and how difficult it can be to get into certain schools. It's a very cutthroat process in my mind. And it's so different than anywhere else in the world. I mean, anywhere else in the country. Sorry, anywhere else in the country. Also, I did a story about, there were 3 schools in one building. Um,
Whoa.
One was an older traditional school that had been in Harlem for years, for decades, and the 2 new schools, one was a charter school and one was a school owned by Columbia University. And so I was basically doing my master's project was about how this older school was threatened to be pushed out of the big campus. And so it was just a lot of tension within those 3 communities within that small school. And it's like something very unique to New York, where you have all this blending of different schools in the same building. In Austin, Texas, I covered this comprehensive, controversial sexual education curriculum program. And Texas is a very interesting place, as most people know, especially being in Austin, where it's blue politically, but the state is a red state. So you had that tension between people who did not want to see a very comprehensive sexual education program in the schools versus the families that had children in these in the school district that did want to see that for their kids. Yeah, that was interesting. The school board meetings would sometimes last from like 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. I kid you not. Yes, because so many parents, families, people wanted to speak about issues that they found important. Yeah, education reporting is a beast. A lot of people, I think a lot of people think it's easy because of the topic. Oh, we're just talking about kids. We're reporting on kids, but there's a lot of heavy topics that you cover, and children are the future. And there's just a lot of ground to cover, important issues.
Oh I can imagine. I can only imagine. That's a girl to see you like being in the community, really, really involved and catching those stories right as it goes. So speaking of stories, in your opinion, no right or wrong answer, of course, what do you think can cause certain stories to not get as much coverage?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think in this era that we live in right now, where there is an active attack on the media industry, on journalists, who report on accurate, fair, balanced news from the federal government. The federal government is not a friend of the media, and is attacking us as journalists, this institution. Honestly, it's been a long time that there's been an attack on the journalism industry. There's been several layoffs throughout the years. And unfortunately, those that get hit hardest are communities that don't have a well-built media ecosystem. So some of those communities, experience newsrooms that have layoffs. They have newsrooms that have layoffs, and it can take away that media landscape completely. So when you ask why aren't some stories being told, it's because the journalists aren't there anymore.
Wow.
And I just want to encourage people who are listening, please support your local journalists, the local newsrooms. Please support PBS and NPR. We need those fair, accurate, balanced news media ecosystems more now than ever.
I love, and thank you for your detailed answer on that. I think I like that you mentioned support the local journalists. I feel like a lot of people don't hear that a lot. I feel like we're so warped in social media. We're not getting back to our roots, which is this supporting your local journalists. So thank you for shouting that out. And I feel like everyone has a unique style with anything that they do with their craft. So in your opinion, what makes you stand out from other journalists? Like, what do you think makes your stories unique compared to other storytellers?
That's a really good question.
I can't get told that a lot.
I do. I love that. I think that I am a silly person. Naturally, I've always been goofy, even if I used to be shy, but I've also always been goofy. And now I'm just blossoming into somebody who can speak my mind and feels comfortable speaking my mind while also being fair and objective, even though honestly nobody's truly all the way objective, but I like to make sure that I'm balanced in my views. So I would say for me, I am naturally different because there's not that many Black journalists, right? Period. There's not that many Black women journalists. Add on to that, there's not that many Black women journalists who grew up working class. And then, I mean, there's just so many. I can keep on going on and on. In LA, the community of journalists, Black women journalists like me, is very small. So, and then also, I have a vibrant social media landscape. Before Twitter turned into what it is now, I was well known on Twitter. I still am, but it's just so different after all the changes with Twitter. Now, my platform that I'm heavy on is Instagram. And so a lot of people have reached out to me and said, Aaricka, I love your voice. I love how you connect with the people, like you meet them where they are, and you do it in a way that makes sense, that breaks things down for people to understand. And I do it in my own way. Like, I'm a child. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. But for me and my thought process, like in my mind, I'm a child of Jet Magazine. Okay. 106 in Park.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like MTV, VH1, BET music videos. So when I share the things that I share, I'm coming from it from a middle millennial. I call myself a middle millennial. I'm 33. I'm coming from that mindset. Yeah. So it's a little, it's very authentic and genuine to Blackness. Neo Soul, we just lost yesterday.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. So when we were growing up, that was a new genre of music, Neo Soul, and so, and that's my favorite genre of music. So that plays into how I show up in real life and in the highlights that we see in social media too. So that carries on in my journalism too, I feel.
Oh, most definitely. Okay, I love that. I love your response to that. And any causes or programs that you want to shout out on here?
Yeah, give a shout out to Keep It 100.
Woo! Yes.
100 Our Run Club. I want to give a shout out to Afro LA. That's the news organization I work with. It's a Black women-owned news organization that's been around for 3 years, and we're just revamping and doing some great things in the community. I want to give a shout out to Caffeinated Fridays. Come out, go to a different coffee shop every Friday, and it's a great co-working space for professionals. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to everybody who is trying to make it in this world. Keep your dreams alive. Okay, rest, and take into joy, but also stand up on the right side of history. Stand up on the right side of history. and knowledge is power.
No pun
knowledge is power.
I love it. Well, y'all heard it here. Make sure y'all tap in with those wonderful causes for real. Like, there's life-changing impact, okay, in these programs for real. But you guys, it is now let's get into tonight's episode. Oh, actually, sorry. Let's get into our Ask Up question of the day. All right, y'all. So tonight we are going to be talking about purpose. So tonight's episode is titled On Purpose, and we're going to be talking about the importance of moving with purpose. So if you're out there listening, please comment and answer the Ask Up question. I'm going to go ahead and answer first, and I'll let you answer, Aaricka. So tonight's Ask Up question of the day is, what does moving in your purpose mean to you? So when I think of moving in my purpose, I think of, honestly, something that is actually like growing with me, and that I am doing literally every step of my walk. So as I'm evolving, this particular thing is evolving. And as I'm growing, this particular thing is growing, and I feel like there's no end point to it. I feel like it's something that follows you for the rest, like for the rest of your life, and you kind of grow into that as you prolong, and then you impact people as you go. And I feel like, it takes that self journey, the self healing of kind of finding what that light is, and kind of like moving more towards that light. So that's my way of seeing it. What about you? So what does moving in your purpose mean to you?
I think it's intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's intentionality every single step of the way, and checking in with yourself daily,
Mm-hmm.
weekly, monthly, but having those check-ins and saying, okay, am I still in line? Am I still aligned with my purpose? Am I still aligned with I'm a Christian. Am I
Mm-hmm.
still aligned with what God has me do, like his will in my life, his calling for my life,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think that honestly requires daily check-ins. I journal, of course. I strongly believe everybody should journal, even if you're not a writer per se. Like,
I agree.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Because the thing is, for writing for me, that's different than just talking to somebody about it or just keeping it in my head. When I write, it like unlocks another part of my brain, and I'm able to like just fully flesh out my thoughts,
mm-hmm.
And sometimes after I write it down, I read it out loud, and it's like, it's like a wraparound. It's like, okay, I'm finishing that reflection point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but it just wraps around my whole brain, the whole experience of that reflection for me.
Mm-hmm.
To write it, think about it, write it down, read it out loud, and just like, it's like just you're using different parts of your brain, and it makes it click a lot more for me when I'm able to process things in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So to make a long story short, moving in my purpose, it means being intentional about every single thing that I do. And so like I said, I even have check-ins with myself. Like if I'm sitting down and I'm working, right, and I'm marathon training right now. I have a marathon exactly
how that
a month
can be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like sometimes I'm like sitting down and doing my work, and I'm like, man, I'm tired. Right. I felt that way yesterday. I was like, man, I am so tired. I am so hungry. And I'm just working and working. And I was like, Aaricka, stop. I had to stop. And I said, am I getting work done? Am I being meaningful right now? Like, how do I feel? You have to have that check in. I was like, Aaricka, you need food. You're a marathon trainer. You need more food, girl. Like, you need to eat.
Running ain't no joke. Yes.
Yeah. You need to eat. And then I had to say, okay, but I also need to sleep. Okay, you need to sleep too. Mm-hmm. So pause. The workday is done. Close your laptop. Go. You know exactly what you need to eat. You need some protein. You need some carbs. And then I was like, I need to go to bed early. So what do I need to do? Put my phone up. Not sleep with my phone. Put that phone up, right, and go to bed early. So it's like, to me, purpose is every single step of the way. When you feel like, oh, what am I doing? Am I doing something aligned to my purpose? If I just signed up for a marathon, I paid $100 for this marathon.
Yep. Am I doing
social media? Is that just doom scrolling, just scrolling on social media? Is that purposeful for me right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I when you say that, that's what I mean about. That's what I think about when moving in purpose. Yeah.
I love that. No, I honestly love the answer. We know how marathon training can be. And the importance of moving with purpose. So I always say this on episodes. I have Nipsey Hussle's quote tatted on me: "On a mission, your worst enemy is idle time." So, I've had times where I had the bad idle time where it's like it's too idle to where that's where those distractions creep in. And then I feel like when those creep in, that pushes you away from that alignment, from that purpose, or like you said, like God's calling on your life or what God wants you to do. It's easy to kind of like go into the wrong side of the forest and just end up distracted. And it's like, am I living in my purpose by spending too much of this idle time, not resting either, like just idle time of like letting your self-doubt get to you, and comparison, you said doom scrolling, all these things that don't even matter. when it's like, is that taking me from what I'm supposed to do? And I feel like I want to say this too: let your purpose motivate you. And I say that because when you think of what your purpose is, if I'm like, wow, okay, if I have a voice that can speak to people, did I use that today? Did I tell someone about God today? Did I motivate somebody? Did I motivate myself? And I feel like sometimes we got to use our purpose on ourselves on purpose so we can feel the
Ooh,
purpose
that's
on
good.
so that's something that like I feel like helps me too when I'm having those moments of like getting in my head. I'm like, I feel like when you know your light, it's like, why do we take the time to dim our own light sometimes when we're getting our head and distracting us from our purpose? So I have a question. How has your purpose motivated you?
That's deep.
I go there.
Yes. Girl, I'm gonna be thinking about this. Okay, how has my purpose motivated me? That's a good journal question too. That I'm going. How has my purpose motivated me? I guess like, so I have this vision book. I always like to tell people about this vision book, but it's like this big. Mm-hmm. I got it from Target back before the boycott. It was years ago. So back in 2019, and I've got this sketchbook, and I've been writing out my visions ever since 2019. Like the visions I have for myself, like it's my vision. But you know how people do vision books during New Year's Eve. And for me, I go back at that vision book from time to time, quarterly or whatever, and I'm motivated because I look at the stuff that I've circled, my mind maps from back then, like just over the years. And I'm like, wow, Aaricka, like, I know you feel like you're not there yet, but you're doing the things that you said you wanted to do at the heart of it all. Like you're still doing it. Mm-hmm. And so that motivates me when I see that I'm actually aligned, even when I'm like grieving, I lost 3 family members last year, and I lost my job essentially. And it was a year where I feel like everything flipped on its head. Like I'm like, okay, who am I? Lost 3 matriarchs, 3 women in my family, and it's like my identity at this job. And I had to like go back to that vision book, look at the things I've written down. And I'm still doing this right now, and think about, okay, Aaricka, in this new chapter of your life, where do you see yourself? How can we connect what you always wanted to do, what your dreams are, to who you are right now, where we are right now? And how have those things changed, right? Like right now in the year 2025, in quarter 4, what do I want for my life right now? What do I want from my life a year from now, 5 years from now? And get completely, I have a friend who said, Aaricka, like I'm delusional about my goals. Like I'm delusional about what I want in my life. Because I think as Black people, as Black women, we have to be. Because the world has always been against us. Like we've always faced this turmoil, right? So in this new era, or in this era that we're in, like, how can I be delusional about what I want in my life and go for it? So my vision book, it motivates me. My purpose, looking at my dreams from the past, what is that, 5-6 years, that's what motivates me, knowing that I'm on the right track, even if I don't feel like I am.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. And that actually like hits on the next topic I was going to bring up, is like using what you got to, go after your purpose. I love how you said, like, even when things, changed on you, you went into your vision book. And I feel like, I had a similar year too of going into, last year, with dealing with death and dealing with job situations and stuff like that too. I feel like too, going back to your roots and really, like you said, finding yourself, or like you said, our identities are always changing. Who we are, what we identify ourselves with, our hobbies, we're changing as people, our interests and things like that. And I feel like as we're changing, our purpose is like kind of like going with that. And like you said, but the roots never change of it. I think, like you said, certain gifts that we have, or like that main dream or whatever it is, that's always there. But sometimes a little roadmap might take us a few different directions. So I appreciate your honesty on that, your vulnerability with that answer. And on here. And I have a question. So, in your opinion, what's the biggest challenge with amplifying stories, right, that don't get enough attention? And in your opinion, what has been the most helpful tool, like to kind of help amplify those things?
What has been the biggest challenge with amplifying stories? Um, I think that the biggest challenge is there's so many challenges. Journalism is hard. It is. It's hard, especially now. I think the biggest challenge, honestly, that I face in my life that I could talk about is allowing myself not to get so overwhelmed because there's so many issues, there's so many stories, especially with the government upheaval that we're experiencing. And sometimes I get overwhelmed by all of it, like the fact that, special education is not anywhere near a priority for this administration, and how they just completely dismantled it. It's so and all the changes going on in the Department of Education, and it's like, oh my gosh. So I know I get like overwhelmed a lot of times, and some people, especially in our community, especially people who care about people who come from diverse backgrounds, believe in equity and inclusion. They want to avoid any kind of backlash that could happen to them by speaking up. So I think, like I said, I have a lot of challenges, and I'm an empathetic person. Like, I understand that this is a very different time that we're living in, a hard time that we're living in, and it's crazy. So I think one of the biggest challenges is getting that I face is like I said, stopping myself from being overwhelmed and just feeling my heartbeat and realizing that I'm human and I can't do it all, but there are some stories that I am called to tell, and report on, and people that I should talk to for these stories. And I believe that I know earlier you was like, what makes me different? People have told me, and I believe this myself, that I am very human driven. Like, people feel comfortable talking to me. And I'm community driven too. Like, I was one of those, when I was in Austin, I was sometimes the only reporter in the school board meeting, or the only reporter in this community meeting of, Black parents and students and other people. So I go out there and I'm with the people. So my biggest thing is like trust. Build as news organizations, and as journalists, we have to build trust with marginalized communities. That's so important. You can't do your work if you don't talk to people who aren't impacted. And nowadays it's going to have to be a lot more. I don't know. We gotta be so community driven, because we are living in very hard times where people are scared to speak out. So I think that's the thing. It's like the challenge is speaking up and speaking out when it's hard, and when there could be backlash.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. You guys, it is now time for the tweet up segment. Y'all know I like to be on Twitter, X, whatever they want to call it. So something that I tweeted this week, I'm going to tweet this week, that goes with today's episode, is feed your purpose, allow it to evolve. So we're talking about, your purpose evolves as you evolve. And also, purpose is an action. It's not a destination. Like, I don't see it as this happened, bam, that's it. Like, I feel like it's like our goals. Like, if you had a goal of getting a certain job, right, you got the job. What are you going to do? You're not going to sit there and job. You're going to keep making more goals as you go. And I feel like that's what it is with our purpose. You may have had a purpose of feeding 1,000 people. And then, okay, you did that. Now what? You're going to keep creating more purpose and adding to that impact. So that's the way I see purpose, like in my everyday life, even when I'm not at my best, like even when I'm still putting myself together. That's a part of feeding my purpose, is putting me together, because if I'm on full, I can now fuel that purpose. But if I'm on E, I can't, right? So I think even when you take care of yourself, you're still feeling into that. And they like I always say too, the best speakers that we've seen, right? Those are right the most honest people that are open about some of the struggles that they've been through. Honestly, I don't know about you, but I love going to panels. And I just love hearing people's story. Like I feel like that's the most inspiration right there. Just hearing like how they got it out the mud, they got through some type of challenge. Even when I interview every single person I've interviewed on this platform, I've learned something from you guys, and it's motivated me and inspired me as well. And I feel like that feeds our purpose too. Is like hearing other people's purposes and wanting to keep rebuilding ourselves as we're watching other people rebuild themselves as well. So I have a question. What's your favorite story or cause that you have written about, and why? I know it's a lot. Or one of them that stands out to you right
Oh,
now.
man. I have two that stand out. I have two.
Okay. We'll take it.
Yeah. My recent stories that I recently published in The Guardian was about, it's two parts to it. So the first part got published in September, and the second one got published Saturday, October 18th. And so basically it's about Black men in the safe spaces that they found to be vulnerable, to express different aspects of their mental health, especially Black fathers. And so that's one of my favorite stories that I've done, is because I got to sorry. Okay. That's one of my favorite stories that I've done as of late, because I got to really talk to a variety of different Black men in Los Angeles about the groups that they belong in, or the groups that they created to not only help other Black men find vulnerable spaces to talk, but also to help themselves find community. Because we've heard a lot of these terms be thrown around lately, the manosphere. We've heard of the male loneliness epidemic, right? Like there's a problem with Black men, Black men, it's always a thing of like, oh, they need to do this, they need to go to therapy, or they're not, the whole lack of Black fathers in the household. But with my two stories about these Black fathers, is they're showing up. And that's a trend that I've seen. And I think it's even recorded. This records show, actually, studies have shown that Black millennial men are stepping up as fathers more than past generations. So it's really cool to talk to Black fathers about fatherhood, because they're excited about it. They're like, oh my gosh, I love being a father. And that makes my heart just glow up. And it was a passion project for me, because I have several Black fathers in my life. I'm close to my dad. My dad is one of my best friends. I'm close to my two brothers, my uncles, my cousins, and I want to see them thrive. For my friends, I want to see them thrive as a Black woman who got their back. Also, another one of my favorite stories was a story. It came out after Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album came out. And it was about, there was all these stories that were coming out across the nation about cowboys and cowgirls, the legacy of Black cowboys and cowgirls, that cowboy culture. But I didn't see anything about Los Angeles. And we're known as the Wild Wild West, right? And I knew that there was something there. And so I was able to talk to Black cowgirls, okay, in LA, who were in charge, and who were one of them was a president of an organization, and one creates she creates synthetic hair. She creates hair for horses.
I love that.
Stuff like that. Yeah. And then, there was just so many Black cowgirls. I talked to teenage girls who were following their mother into being a cowgirl. And, it was just an amazing story. I got to ride a horse myself, be out on a ranch. It was so grounding and healing. And it also came at a time when it also came at a very difficult time. Like I was experiencing a grieving process with a loved one, and that story actually got published when they transitioned.
Mhm.
And I felt like she really wanted that story to come out before she passed, and that's what happened because she was a really big supporter of me. So yeah,
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
okay. Okay, yeah. Well, like those. I love that. You have passion projects. Those are the ones to have right there, and then you'll never forget. So, you guys, it is now time for the life up segment. So the life up is when I take the topic and I compare it like to issue with today. So tonight's life up is undermining the power of impacting just one person. Comparing purposes to other people's purpose, your purpose to other people's purpose, and dimming our own light to fit in. So these are big ones. I feel like, obviously social media, right? Got us stuck on numbers, likes, and I got this many likes, this many views, da, 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 da. And sometimes like I'm like, if I did an episode or like I said, if you did an article, right, and a person was impacted and make them want to go change their life for the better, do something creative, want to give back, want to donate to the cause that you were speaking about in your article, I feel like that's how you know you're doing your job. When even if it did, like if I get it all the time, sometimes I'll drop an episode and someone will write me, I needed that. Oh my goodness, you talked about this. I was dealing with this. I needed the motivation. That right there warms my heart. And I feel like we just got to go back to the basics. Social media has us stuck on, if it didn't get this many views, then it was a bad post or a bad picture, this and that. Just because you posted a selfie, right, and you got 10 likes doesn't mean the picture was ugly, right? But we are programmed to go by the likes and this and that and all these things when what is the impact? Or whatever, or it still got the point across, whatever it was that you're trying to do. So that's something I want to say about that. Any thoughts on the life up on any of those topics I brought up? So comparing your purpose to others, dimming your own light, or impacting one person.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes.
That's the most realist
Yeah.
thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think that's the truth. I think that we have to, if I could be honest, I feel like it's especially hard to be in Los Angeles and also
Mm.
be on Instagram and on social media because I think that it's the entertainment industry, the entertainment capital. So sometimes, especially working in the media, you see some people who have these brand deals and they get these cool opportunities. And you're like, dang, how come I didn't get that? Or how come I didn't know about this? Or you see, being in run clubs, even being in the fitness community, you know, there's always comparison, especially like now that sharing your stats on Strava has become a thing, right?
Oh, yes.
And
I see. Mhm.
you can compare yourself with somebody else so easily, and I think that, oh my gosh, it can be so hard to just focus on you. It can be so hard to focus on you when you're looking at other people's stories and seeing the way they look and just comparing their life, their highlight reel to your life. Like, your life. We experience ourselves 24/7, 365 days a year, right?
Mhm.
We're only seeing, unless we're like super close to somebody, but a lot of the people that we follow on Instagram, we're not super close to. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
that, 1 second that we see them on, say, Instagram, that story is only 1 second of their life. Like, you don't know that person. There's been times when I posted a picture of me looking fit, I felt good, all that. I'm smiling, right? People don't know that 30 minutes before I posted that or earlier that day, I was crying.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was struggling through something. I was trying to help a friend through something, or I had an argument with somebody. Like, because there's just so many things that go on in our days, and nobody is perfect. Nobody is, I mean, yes, those highlight reels, I am like, when you see me on social media, yes, I am that happy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Really good. But that is only a second of my life. And I
Mhm.
think we have to like really step away, right? and think about, like, when we see other people, we have to think about our own lives and be like, yo, if I know my life is complex and nuanced, their life is too. And I can't compare my whole life with their highlight reel, you know? So that's my thoughts on that.
And that was well said, especially with the quote that you brought up. And y'all, how do we fix this? So yeah, purpose doesn't always have to be huge. It's still purpose, it's still impact, even if it is at a minute level in that moment. And also ask yourself what's important to you. I think with purpose, okay, your best friend's purpose was to do this, your purpose is to do this. What is important to you? That's what's important to that person, whatever it is they're going after. But what is important to you? And I really believe a lot of comparison and all that will be shushed if we all took the time to really get to know ourselves. I think, with social media too, we're seeing highlight reels of people, right? But we're also like really involved in people's business and life so much to where we're kind of merging our identities together. We're seeing them live in their identity, whatever it is that they're interested in. It's like that little thing comes in where it's like when you kind of forget who you are because you're trying to pursue something at them when they already found their cleach, whatever it is for them, their niche. I'm sorry. And something else I want to add on too is allow your purpose to grow you. Just like it grows with you, also allow it to grow you. So what's something in life that has helped you find your purpose?
I think being rooted, being grounded helps me. There's just so many things, honestly. I think the most important thing is God.
Yes.
I think because I feel like when you read the word, there's so much purpose in there, built in, right? Like as a Christian, you're a child of God. Like there's so many affirmations in it too. Like you're more than a conqueror, be strong and courageous. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like these are the things in the Bible. This is the way God thinks of us. If you look at it as a whole, you see the character of God and how he's led his people. He never let his people go, even when they turned their backs on him. And then the story of Jesus is beautiful. Like he loves us unconditionally. So for me, I will always say my purpose is rooted in my faith, and my belief in Jesus Christ. I feel like that's the root of who I am and where my purpose lies. I think that at the end of the day, okay, I also find purpose through my family. Like when I think about, and when I talk about my family, I'm talking about my immediate family, but I'm also talking about like my ancestors. Like as a storyteller though, for real. As a storyteller, when you look at the story of Black people, like it's incredible. Like, and I think that's why, let me not get I was about to say, I think that's why they be so mad at us, for real. Because I'm like, we are resilient people.
Oh, that's
okay. We are a resilient people. Like, how in the world I have a picture, Bernice, of two women. My great auntie, she lives in LA. She has a picture of two older women who were enslaved. They were enslaved and they got their freedom eventually. Like, I have that picture. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but I'm literally looking at them in the face, and they're my relatives. And the fact that they went from, like, if you look up the story of Biddy Mason, Biddy Mason's an LA pioneer, a Black woman who got her freedom. She was enslaved and she ended up owning property. She was property, ended up owning several property in LA, Los Angeles. Her story is incredible. And so when I think about that, I'm like, my life is so much bigger than my own. Because I'm seeing stories and they give me hope. And I think it's an injustice to just sit back and not. I think it is unfair. I don't think it is right to just not live out intentionally and on purpose and walk with purpose when my ancestors, when my family died, or they went through hell and back to make sure that I have the rights that I have.
Girl, that is well said on there. And I'm gonna back up on a couple things you said, like speaking of like, Jesus Christ and God and things like that. Like I think of the transforming of your mind and renewal of your spirit. That's what stood out to me
Yep.
with that too, like we're living in purpose. And like you said, what our ancestors have fought through, things like that to get us where we are today. And like you said, like let's keep pushing forward and progressing. Like I love that. And I love what you said about the word resilient. I got that word tatted on me for a reason too. Like, resilient, coming from resiliency, it makes you want to like push forward. I feel like that power is in us to keep it going. So I love that. Thank you for that. And you guys, yeah, a lot said there. We're gonna get into the drink up segment. So if you're out there listening, please drink some water. And I have a water fact for tonight. So tonight's water fact. Oh, you got your water! Yay! The water fact for tonight is a strong immune system is essential for defending the body against infections. Clean water flushes out toxins, supports the production of immune cells, and ensures that organs function optimally, according to aliens.com. So y'all, it's getting cold. Still drink y'all water. Because I feel like people drink it a lot when it's hot, but when it starts getting cold, people kind of slow down. We need to drink water. Let's allow our body to fight against those infections. And also, a lot of people are getting sick right now. So let's keep this immune system strong and healthy. So that was a water fact for tonight. So what's a piece of advice you would give to an inspiring journalist?
I would say the first thing I could think about is be curious. Be curious of the world around you. Be curious of people. I think it's important to talk to people about issues that are impacting them, issues that they care about. So yeah, and get to know what is important. Like really think about those questions that you have about the world around you, because a lot of times those are stories. Like if you're wondering, why is this water not fresh? Or that's a horrible but I mean, like, yeah.
Not clean,
I mean,
yeah.
it could be anything, but continue to dig in, do the research, be a curious, lifelong learner of issues, but also people. Like ask people questions. A lot of times stories are right there in front of you. And be empathetic too. Just I think that's gotten me so far, is being kind and being empathetic and leading with my leading human first, heart first, because that's who we are. And we're not robots yet. No, we're not AI. Come on. Woo! Like I feel like, I don't know, like, being on AI so much, it can, like, I'm not saying that it's all bad, but I'm saying like relying on it, leaning so much into it and allowing it to take over your mind, which, that's the best thing in the world, right? Like use your mind, use your heart.
I
like
that.
It's here for a reason.
And it keeps you unique too and creative. Well said. I like that. That's some really good advice. We're gonna make sure we post that clip. It is now time for the show up segment. So this is the show up segment. So if you're out there listening, please comment. How did you show up for yourself this week? I'm gonna answer first. And I'll let you answer. So how did I show up for myself this week? I took my time. So I'm working on this thing. I'm really trying to regulate my nervous system. I grew up very just shake, just doing too much. And I'm really trying to just calm down, move slower, be more aware of it, acknowledge it, but still give myself grace, because I know what survival tactics I've had that made me be this way. So I feel like I really did good this week. I took my time, like even like we're just getting ready for my day, not rushing, like waking up a little earlier so I can take my time, and honestly think about when you rush, you don't even move it that much faster. I've noticed that, like you can be doing it, but you're still kind of moving at the same. So just those little subtle things that I notice a big change in how I'm sleeping and just how I'm going on without my day and how my mood is. So that's how I showed up for myself this week. How did you show up for yourself this week?
I'm still working on it.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm working on it, sis. I'm working on it. I think the clearest example of me showing up for myself this week, there's just so many aspects of life, but the one that I think is clear to me is the fact that I showed up to a run club yesterday.
Woo.
Like I said, I'm training for a marathon, and there are a lot of times I don't really want to run. A lot of times, like sometimes I'm scared, to be honest. I'm telling you, Bernice, like sometimes, like you said, regulating your nervous system, like sometimes I get anxiety, and it's different kinds of anxiety depending on the run club. You know, I don't know, but I still go. And so I showed up yesterday, for example, and I was so nervous because I went to a run club that is like very like these are Boston qualifying people, like Boston Marathon. Boston Marathon is the most elite like marathon. And so, and I know that I'm like, you know, a little bit slower. I hate the words. I don't like slow and fast are always subjective. So I don't like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm working on my speed, right? And I think the best thing you can do for yourself when you're trying to grow and you're trying to get better is be with the best. Okay, learn from the best.
Yourself.
You know? So even it can be you know, if you allow yourself to be embarrassed, you'll be embarrassed.
That's real.
You feel me? For me, I'm like, you know what? I came here with a goal. My goal is to get faster. And how do I get faster? I learn from people who are fast. I learn from the best. So I showed up at track club. I said, hey, I run like a 9-minute mile. They run 6 to 8 minute miles. But I'm here to practice my stride. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to practice my speed and get faster. And it helped me because we know that running is 90% mental. So when I see people running fast, it makes me want to run fast.
Yes.
So I showed up for myself by, like I said before, like realizing, okay, Aaricka, you paid for this marathon. You got a marathon next month. How are you going to show up for yourself? Okay, going out there on that track and putting in the miles, putting up the speed, learning from others. So that's how I showed up for myself.
And that is a beautiful answer. Like being that, like I've done a marathon too. I think what's helped me, like, I just feel like I like that saying that's like, it's your marathon, it's your race, you know, like just like with life, it's our own life. We have our own turns, stops, pauses. There's moments I'm moving fast in life and my friends are moving a little slower. I'm at a pause and then you know, we're all like that. And I think when we look at our marathon that way, and it's like about, you know, competing with ourselves at the end of the day, right? And just knowing, you know, like I'm here for me, and like I like what you said, you showed up to run club, like right there, you showed up for yourself because you went, you taking it serious. So we're gonna applaud that one because that's a big one. And I like to ask all my guests a fun question before we run out of time. What is your go-to song when you're experiencing writer's block?
Writer's block?
Like what's a song?
That's a good question.
You'll feel like, okay,
oh my goodness,
get your creative flow going. It has to be one song.
That's you know what? You said what's up, girl? I'm about to say I got playlists. Like, oh man.
Right now, if you needed to like start writing and you're like, let me turn this song on real quick and just get to it.
I gotta think about that. Honestly, I would say at this very moment, I would say something D'Angelo.
Okay. Yeah, no, we'll take it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe like some Brown Sugar. Oh man. Charade is man. He has so many good songs, girl. Yep. Like I'm trying to think which one. This is maybe She's Always in My Hair. That's like one of my favorite songs. I mean, something that like I love a good lyricist.
Okay.
Love.
Yeah, that's a good way to jump start here.
Yeah. There's so many. Lauryn Hill, Miseducation. See, I
know it's something.
This album changed my life. Okay, I'm getting too excited.
D'Angelo answers. Shout out to him for that. Okay, love that. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Here's our wrap up segment. So how does this relate to self-love? Self-love is loving yourself enough to want to go after your purpose. You know, let's bring purpose and impact to our life. I feel like that is a way to practice self-love. So quick question, how do you practice self-love?
Sorry. Okay, how do I practice self-love? The first thing I thought of was I sleep.
Hey, that's
I
a beautiful answer right there. I'll
okay,
take that in my
that's it right
30s.
there.
In my 30s, I'm taking that answer. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, I
Yeah, you sleep.
sleep.
I'll take that. Okay. And I love to ask,
Yeah.
this is I love to final question. I love to ask my guests every single guest this question. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for being a light to others, for shining brightly, for just helping people out when they have time and need. Being a light. That's the first thing that comes up to my mind, is just being a bright light in people's lives. And I want to be remembered for my smile
Yes.
and for my encouragement. Yes, encouraging others and uplifting others.
I must say you already
And
doing
my stories.
Yes, and
I want
stories.
the stories to live on. Yeah, that byline to live on.
There we go. You definitely doing it. And before we go, can you shout your information out? Where can people find you, read your stories, and all that?
Yeah, so you can find me on at the Unsung Storyteller on Instagram. That's where I'm mostly popping. Yeah, so find me on there. Yeah.
Okay. Make sure y'all tap in. Look, support your local journalists.
Yes.
Gotta say it. I appreciate you coming on. This was an amazing episode. I just thank you for sharing your story and dropping gems. Girl, you are what you do. Keep living in your purpose. We love it.
Thank you. Thank
shining.
you too.
Thank you. And I appreciate y'all tapping into this wonderful episode. Make sure y'all tapping with Aaricka's content. And make sure y'all tap with SpeakUpJV. You can find SpeakUpJV at SpeakUpJV. My personal is at Vernisa. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Tell all your friends about SpeakUpJV. I love y'all. I will be back with another episode soon.